little hitch. Our facilitator indicated that they would be with us at 9. So I'd like us to begin by some sort of sharing from Sister Ruth Njeri. But before that, I'd like us to get a volunteer who will moderate the session at 9. I have to step out for a meeting. So the class should not end because I have to go to a meeting. Can I have a volunteer moderator who will take over the session from now? Sounds like Sister Lydian is talking, but we don't hear her.
Okay, I do mwalimu.
Okay, so Sister Valentine, you will moderate the session.
Okay.
And so right now, we would like to listen to Sister Njeri. Probably a number of you have also had experiences with children with cerebral palsy. So Sister Njeri will share, and then the rest of us can also share as we go along. Then our facilitator comes in. She's a parent of a child with cerebral palsy, and she's the founder of the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya. Now, I may be able to introduce her when we get to 9 o'clock. But if I'm not in the hall, I'll invite Sister Valentine to take charge. So, Sister Valentine, the floor is yours, and I'm making you host now.
Okay, thank you. Corona, desiyakanga, where?
Corona hiyo.
Go ahead, Sister Valentine.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good morning, Sister Vale.
Good morning, Sister
Okay. I heard Mwalimu say Sister Ruth Njeri has something to share, and we can take from there. Sister Ruth Njeri, is she in? Sister Ruth, upo?
Yes, I'm there for
Okay.
Nico. But
Sawa,
I'm
endelea.
working
Nitaweka video alafu naacha kucheka.
Hey, Sister Adright. Where?
1 minute.
Okay, before Sister Ruth comes in, maybe we do a bit of revision on the last class. Or where do you feel we need to do some more revision? You are welcome to give your suggestion. Before Sister Ruth come.
Nimefika Fale.
Oh, so continue.
So, Maureen had told me that today we are doing the topic of the CP, and he requested me to share about our institution that have a lot of children with CP. And then
Njeri, you are breaking.
so I had not to share what I see and what the experience. So I started. You accept me with the computer. I have the phone with me.
Oh, network ndio inavunja.
Yeah. To be joined with the computer.
Sasa tunakusikia.
Unanisikia?
Tunakusikia.
So I was saying that we have many of the children in our institution have CP. There are 100 of them. And they come there because of the physiotherapy, and they are operated every year.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry.
We can't hear anything, sister. You are lost.
I'm there. Let me come out.
Oh, she's into gadget. Okay.
So I was sharing about our institution that have the majority of the children, they are a CP. There are 100 of them. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
So
Yes.
and the causes of these CP are known and some are not known. But many of the causes here, they are known because CP is cerebral palsy, but the short name is CP. Maybe many of you know about the CP. And these children, majority of them, they usually have one hand is weak and one leg. You might find them, one hand is weak and one leg, one side, and especially the right side or the left side. So you see, they are not able to walk in a better way. They walk in a, they like pull the leg when they are walking, and this hand is not able to do. So they use one hand, and that leg also to move it, it's not easy to move that leg or the hand. But with the occupation therapy and physiotherapy, they're able to do many of the things. So this CP, I realized that many of these CP happen when the child is being born, the prolonged labor. And many mothers, when they are in the hospital, because of the nurses, the negligence of the nurses, they labor even 10 hours, 4 hours. And when the child is born, the child is born when he or she has struggled to come out. And then it usually cause problem in the brain. And then when they are born, immediately the doctors, they realized that the child will have a problem because they don't cry. So when the child doesn't cry, they try to force the child to cry, but many of them, because of the struggle when they were before delivery, it damaged their brain, and that causes them to have this cerebral palsy. And many, even it affects the speech, but later on in life, with the physiotherapy and with a lot of encouragement, they are able to talk and walk and even use that hand. And there is also another cause of the CP. There might be the mother when the child was in the womb, when she was pregnant, she might have been taking medicine, and this also causes the CP, the cerebral palsy. And when I was talking with one of the physiotherapy, she was trying to explain to me that, let me see where I had written a long time ago. I'm trying to see whether I had written short notes on these procedures. So CP, according to what I was told, means permanent brain damage, cerebral palsy. So first, the causes are prolonged labor, and I say this because of the negligences in the hospital. The second one, the causes is meningitis. And meningitis comes when the child has low immunity. And many children also have this because when they are born, maybe their mothers were not able to feed well. And especially it happens also in the where the west, the northern Kenya, and because these mothers are always moving, looking for food, and they are not able to feed well. So you realize that these children, when they are born, they are very weak, and because of low immunity, many of them get meningitis. So meningitis is the inflammation of the brain, so it damages the brain, and it is caused by a bacteria. It's a bacteria, it can be bacteria or viral. And I was told it also causes cerebral palsy, and these children are not able to coordinate the movements. And you have to like, sometimes you see he is like shivering, the movements are uncoordinated. And I have said this is the cause of low immunity. They get meningitis, and it causes the brain damage. So this bacteria is in the air, and even grown-ups can get it. And when it affects the grown-ups, it even causes death. But with the children, if they are realized early, it is treated. But after that, they will get the CP because it damages the brain completely. So it is also called, there is also cerebral malaria. Also, this one causes cerebral palsy. People usually say that malaria of like you are mad. So that also causes the cerebral palsy because it also damages the brain and affects the children. Children are vulnerable, as we know, and they are very weak. Also pneumonia. So I have said 3 things: prolonged labor, meningitis, and cerebral malaria, and then pneumonia. This also causes the cerebral palsy. If it's not treated early, and if the mother doesn't realize, it also causes, the brain of the child, especially before 6 months, is very delicate. So it causes the brain damage, and the child get cerebral palsy. Also, there are these children who are born with jaundice, the yellowish. You see a child come out when she is yellow, or he or she is yellow. If not detected immediately, it affects also the brain. It causes brain damage. And after the brain is damaged, that's why people say that the child is CP, cerebral palsy. So there is also another one, but the first 4 are the main one, because especially the prolonged labor, many of the children get it from this prolonged labor.
Sister Ruth,
Yes?
sorry kidogo. Naomba urudie hapo kwa cerebral malaria.
Cerebral malaria,
Aha.
this is a bacteria that affects the brain of the child. So it causes the brain damage also, and the child gets the CP, the cerebral palsy.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So am I very fast? Maybe you didn't hear the rest. But Mwalimu will come to explain in me. I was told to share what we are undergoing in our home.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's only sharing before the Mwalimu come.
Asante.
Yes, there is the premature birth. You notice that many of the child that are born are premature. Maybe they are born before 6 months, 7th month, and they are put in the incubator. They are underweight. Their immunity is low. Their weight, underweight, I have said underweight. The immunity is very low. And their development is delayed development. This also causes cerebral palsy, but it is mild. If the children is able to be, if the hospital and the nurses are able to help the child grow in the incubator, and the mother feeds with the milk through the tubes, the child come out very well. But if they are not taken care very well, they may also have cerebral palsy. CP or cerebral palsy is a group of disorders that affect the movement. I said the movement and uncoordinated movement. So they have raw muscle tone. It also happens when the immature brain is infected. You see the child is very young and the brain is it's growing that time, because usually it affects the children at an early age, 1 to 6 months. Mostly it happened before birth. It can happen before birth, and I said when it is before birth is the prolonged labor. So I want to share also the costs of CP before birth. What I was sharing is mixed, but before birth it can happen also. I said that maternal problem factors. We remember we heard about gene mutation when Maureen was sharing about gene mutation. If one of them is not well formed, the children also are affected. If the mother also has blood pressure, BP, the child is also affected. The child gets stroke when she is still in the womb. The mother also can have malaria, sugar, trauma, and that's why the mothers are advised to go for antenatal care, the MCH. They usually go for checkup, their BP are controlled. The malarias, you see, if you take malaria, those tablets of malaria when you are pregnant, they will also affect the child in the womb. The mother may also have trauma, and this also affects the child. So I think I have shared many of the things that I know about it. I was trying to ask one of
You've done a good job, sister.
Thank you.
I only wish you would share with us what is it that makes your center the best place for people to go. How did you stumble on this ministry? What would you say is the prevalence? From how far do these kids come to be brought? You know, the kind of hinterland you're serving. Who brings them? Is it parents or well-wishers? Something like that. Your experience in encountering these children.
Okay, these children are brought in our place because they need to be operated, because these bones are corrected. The movement also, so that they will be able to move, because usually their hands are not very strong. So they are operated. And when they come in our center, they are screened. And majority of them are screened and they are
So
admitted.
your facility is an orthopedic center?
Yes. They are screened and they are admitted in the home.
Your facility is an orthopedic center and there is a home?
Yes. So we have a home, but we have a hospital not very far from our home. So usually when they are admitted there, they are done, they do physiotherapy and occupational therapy. And once they are a bit strong and their immunity are boosted a bit, so they are operated in the year. In the course of the year, after staying in the home, they are done, some of them, they do well with physiotherapy. And those who are not able to come out very well, they are operated and then they are treated. After healing, they continue with the physiotherapy. So the mothers and the guardian who bring these children, they bring them because they are informed about our home. We don't go to look for them. They are brought, and many of them are from West Pokot. So they are brought there
Okay.
because we are in connection with priests and sisters from those areas who correct these children and bring to our home.
Do you charge them?
Yeah, for sure, because they spend a lot of money. We charge them 11,000 per term, not a lot of money, but they have the NHIF. So when they go to the hospital, the NHIF cover many things. And so it is not very expensive. You should take to maybe in the hospital direct. When they are in our home, already we have card for the NHIF card for the home, for the institution. So they are registered and the parents are the one who pay and then they are put in the list.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have said most of the things.
Yeah,
Dr.
thank you,
Sister
sister.
Njeri,
Yes.
I was asking, according to your experience, because you have told us that they are normally operated, because you see they have difficulties in movement, maybe the bones have problems. So do they normally go back to normal? They start walking just normal?
Yes, they walk, but with the help of the gadget, the wheelchair and the walking stick. So they are taught how to move. The physiotherapy do that work. They teach them how to move. We have all those gadgets in a room where they are taught how to move, to walk again, and they are able to walk. And you can't imagine how even some of them, they drive. They drive with those legs and they are able to do everything for themselves. So you see a child coming and after 1 year or 2 years, she is able to walk and do everything on his own and go to school normally. The school is just in here. It is in the compound. It's a public school, but it was our school. And then we asked the government to take it because we could not be able to pay the teachers. So it is in our compound. We built it. We are the one who built that school, but the government is taking care of the teachers.
Sister,
Yes.
the original founding of that center, was it to attend to children with cerebral palsy, or it was designed to attend to orthopedic issues?
Orthopedic issues, but at the
Okay.
beginning it was it was started in 74. But they had it was started because they wanted, after the Mau Mau emergency, there were many children without parents, and so the Bishop of Nyeri and the diocese, they asked if they could build a home for those orphans that were left by their parents who died who died during emergency, during the Mau Mau in Kenya.
Okay.
And so when they
Then,
started, then they realized that many people took their children and there were few in the home. So when the sisters were going for apostolate in Nyandarua, they realized that people are hiding these children in the homes, and they took 20 of them. They started with 20 of them, but now
they're hiding which children? That
the disabled children.
okay, disability. So you started off dealing with physically disabled children.
Yes.
Then you realize that there is a pattern of disability connected to cerebral palsy.
Yeah, those are the majority. So the doctor started
Okay,
dealing with
so
this one.
you then evolved from physical disability, and I mean your expertise evolved from physical disability into disability that is physical but associated to cerebral palsy.
Yes, cerebral palsy, Down
So
syndrome.
you then became the place or the go-to place for any parent who sees a disability in a child.
Yes, the physical, especially the physical.
Okay,
Also
that
multiple,
makes
multiple, and also those who get accident, they have no
Mm.
legs. They are injured, their hearts are injured. They come there and we usually make artificial legs and artificial arms.
Mm.
So you
Okay,
may not even realize that someone is using artificial. They have them.
okay.
They are able to work with them.
Mr. Valentine, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Sister Ruth.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Anyone else who have a question for Sister?
Yes, sister. Is it only for children? It's only for young children ama hata wazee wanaweza?
We deal with children, mostly with children, and mothers come with babies. We have also babies with the foot crab. Foot crab.
Foot crab ni nini?
Hii mguu inashika chini. It step, you don't have the nini. When you step, when you are moving, the whole foot.
A flat foot.
Flat foot on that one. Crab foot is called crab foot. So the mothers come with their the babies and they are admitted, but we usually don't, we take rare cases with the grown-ups, maybe 2 or 3. We don't take the majority because we can't be able to manage the children there. There are many, I tell you. And every year they bring like 100 of them and we only admit 60, according to the beds we have, because every year we discharge 60 and we admit other 60. So the home is not able to manage many children. Now we have many because with the corona, the doctor didn't come. So the doctors are the one who discharge them. They go home and they screen others. They are admitted in the home every year. Every year we do they come to operate twice a year. But the good thing, we are lucky that the doctors, we don't pay them. In the hospital, we are also working in Nodhikinago Kadrek Hospital. Our sisters are there, so we are in connection with them. That it make it easier for us to manage these children, because they only pay a quarter, so the rest is paid by the sponsors, and the doctors are not paid, the NHIF and the well-wishers. Did I answer that one?
Yes, sister. Thank you. Sister Ruth.
A question.
Sister Ruth.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, thank you. You can continue.
Yes, Sister Ruth.
Yes.
Now, I want to know, because I'm not very sure, because you spoke about the medicine, so you did not specify which kind of medicine that can cause this. But my question is this: can the contraceptives and these injections that the mothers are getting to prevent pregnancies and whatever they do cause this cerebral palsy to the children?
I'm not very sure, but what I spoke is about the brain damage. If the brain is damaged, it causes the CP, because CP is caused by is caused by many things. The one I said, the 6 types I said, but with the drugs, I'm not very sure. But you see, malaria, the drugs for malaria, and the drugs for BP, those ones, they affect the child when she is in the womb. But about contraceptives, I am not very sure. Maybe we can ask the teacher when she comes. Because I heard also this medicine that the mothers are taking, when they want to get pregnant, you see, their bodies are not strong enough to carry the pregnancies. And so if the child is conceived, she will have raw immunity because the mother is weak also. That it can cause also, but I'm not very sure. Because I noted that.
Thank you, sister.
We have one. My brother got one. My brother has a child that got meningitis. And these meningitis have affected this child. Now she has CP. He has CP. He is 4 years, and he has never sat or moved. He just stay lying down. But he is improving with the diet, with the physio. So the mother was also taking contraceptives. They are called what? Those medicines.
Contraceptives.
So she gave birth to that boy after 6 years. So you can imagine 6 years, and then the child was very weak, and then the child got meningitis. And now, up to now, he is not able to move. But the funny thing, imagine, we have a big home and we are dealing with this, but the father is not accepting. My brother now, has never accepted that the child is CP. I have tried to speak to him, but he has refused to accept even. Anyway, the child is there. I'm not able to help him.
Sister Valentine.
Thank you.
Yes,
All
Mwalimu.
right. Sister Valentine, our facilitator is with us, Madam
Yes, she has
Dorothy
just entered.
Mwangi. She has joined the call. And Madam Dorothy Mwangi on call is students of the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, largely practitioners. They are running special homes, OVCs, and special needs facilities. And as you've listened in a little bit, one of them is at the front line of engaging with children with cerebral palsy. And she's been sharing her experience from their center in Nyeri. My dear sisters, we have the founder of the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya with us. She is a mother of a child with such a condition who has grown into adulthood. So we have someone who can take us full circle from a time when no one knew anything about cerebral palsy to a time of intervening and solving the situation, or probably allowing the affected person to live to adulthood. So welcome, Madam Dorothy Mwangi. Sister Valentine is our moderator. I will be quiet up to the end of the course. We will talk after the session. So go ahead, Sister Valentine, receive our guests, and we proceed with the class.
Okay, thank you, Mwalimu. Good morning, Madam Dorothy. Welcome to our class. We are eager to listen to you, and we are happy to have you, and we hope you enjoy the session. The sisters are so joyful. We like asking questions, so you'll not be bored. You'll not be alone in class. So welcome. Welcome, Ms. Dorothy. Hello. Are you able to hear us? Madam Dorothy, are you able to hear us? The sisters, can you hear me? I'm the one who is lost.
Yes, we are
Yes.
hearing.
Yeah, we can hear. You are
Yes.
breaking sometimes.
Sorry. No, Miss Dorothy, we can't hear you.
She's there now.
Just write to her a message. Maybe she has problem with the network.
She's there, but maybe she's muted. I'm seeing her appearing here.
She is not muted.
Hello. I can see she's trying to talk. Mr. Richard. Is mwalimu there?
He's
But you
out.
can call Mwalimu so because you don't have the contact of the teacher.
Sure.
Excuse me, Sister Ruth.
Yes, tell me. Say, Mama, Adelaide.
Yes, I logged in and I found I had problems with logging in, and when I entered, you were explaining things of material causes like genes, blood
Maternal
pressure. Yes,
causes, yeah.
I didn't know what you had talked there before, so I'm in darkness.
My goodness.
Sister Valentine, have you seen the message from
Sister Valentine.
The teacher is
Maybe
in.
I'll
Dorothy,
call
Yes,
like,
I'm sending
person.
to her. I'm sending to her.
Sister Rida, ni Sister Rida alikuwa anaongea.
Hapana, ni Jane.
Sister Jane, I will explain to you
Yes.
because Mwalimu is already in class.
Okay, I'll call
I
you.
will. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
Sister Valentine.
Nimemtumia. Nimemtumia link, acha tuone. Mwalimu said he's also calling her. Ruth, endelea kujibu maswali kabla mwalimu aingie. Oh, amerudi. Hello, Madam Dorothy. Haya. Saruthi, endelea. Okay.
Tanganyet, not working.
Ana try kuconnect. Saruthi, ulikuwa umeulizwa swali, jibu.
Yaani wewe akaandika Ruth, Dr. Ruth.
Sawa. What are you calling me? Sema.
Ati ujibu
Sister Jane,
swali.
Swali niulize sasa. Ni swali gani sasa?
Kama bado mtu anajipanga kuuliza, wacha niulize. Nini, you see, like nurses, nda kuulizia hapo pale pa nurses, like you have talked like that nurses sometimes maybe because of neglect or prolonged labor.
Negligence.
Yes. Aje, kwa sababu mi naona hospitali nurses wanasema push. Sasa sijui hapo kama mtu ameshindwa push. Mi sijui kama
wanamuashiria at time and then the mother have prolonged labor.
Kwa hivyo inafaa nurses wafanyaje?
Sasa mimi I was trying to see what can we do, because the nurses sometimes they are busy, and I realized when they stay in the hospitals they get used to these mothers. So they see as if the mothers are pretending. And once the mother has prolonged labor of maybe 4 to 5 hours and the child is due, usually it causes the child get tired. and this caused the brain damage. So I was asking our physiotherapists, now what can we do? They said, sister, you know, we are not in the crowd where these children are born. The only thing, maybe the government can come in and try to see why are these mothers delaying in the before they give birth, because the hospital can also manage these mothers. The hospital management can also organize with the nurses, because these nurses get used. I have worked in the hospital, in our hospital in Kinago. It's a big hospital. And we have the gynecologist there. He follows, he even wake early in the morning, but still, you will still get some mothers are getting affected, because not all the nurses are ready to help the mother, especially maybe during the night or even during the day. They have so many, they are overwhelmed by the mothers there in the maternity. So sometimes they don't care. Some of them are good, I tell you, but some, even they harass the women. I have been there, they harass them a lot. And you can imagine it's a private hospital. What about the public hospital? But once you are caught in our hospital, once you are caught, either you are removed from the, your job is terminated. Huh?
Someone is carrying a hand, please.
Thank you so much. The lecturer is in now.
Yeah.
Miss Dorothy, welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Sister Ruth.
Welcome.
Naona kama ina try to connect.
Sister Vale,
Eh?
maybe you can tell her to log in through the phone, because even me, I had tried with the laptop and
she has
it
logged in
refused.
with it. She's logged in with the phone.
Okay.
Anainua mkono guy. Good morning, Madam Dorothy. Najaribu kumpigia simu, nimesema busy.
Pale.
Eh?
Amejoin na phone.
Amejoin na phone.
Mwalimu ameingia.
Anatusalamia.
Mwalimu ameingia.
Mbona mimi simuoni?
He is raising the hand. She is raising the
Mr.
hand.
Richard. Video yangu ni nyeusi hata siwezi ona. Oh, ameingia sasa.
They have struggled.
You have been muted. We can't hear her. Okay, now it's.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
now
we
we can hear
you.
you.
Yes.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning to you.
Good morning, madam. We are fine.
How are you?
Welcome.
Yeah, good.
We are fine. Karibu.
Asanteni sana. Pole, I've had to take my phone. The laptop failed.
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, but you're fine. So I thank you very much for inviting me. I'm delighted to meet all of you virtual in the new norm. And I believe that our conversation will go well. Thank you. Let me start by introducing myself, or I don't know who is the facilitator.
Our facilitator is Mr. Richard.
Yes.
And you are welcome. We are a group of sisters who are studying Catholic University. We are eager to learn from you and feel welcome. We are ready to listen. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'll start by introducing myself. I believe everybody can hear me. My names are Dorothy Wanjiro Mwangi. I'm the founder member of Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya. This is an institution or a charitable organization that deals with persons who are afflicted by cerebral palsy. I'm also, what motivated me to be one of the founder members is because I have a son who has cerebral palsy. My son is 43 years old. I got him, or I gave birth to him in 1979. At that time, very little was known about cerebral palsy. And I hopped from hospital to hospital because he had delayed milestones. He did not have head support. He was drooling a lot. He could not sit at the appropriate age. He could not crawl. He was not making any sounds. So we were referred to Kenyatta National Hospital. From there, we were enrolled for therapy. Unfortunately, at that time, we were not even being told what it was all about. So I joined therapy. I went there for 1 year before my son was referred to Jacaranda Special School. Now, when he was referred there, that was, I think, one of the oldest schools we have, because I understand it was established during the colonial days in the early 60s, if I'm not wrong, in 1960. And when I took him there, I realized that he was the only one who was on a wheelchair. Actually, there were very few, about 3. It was, all of them were mixed disabilities. And I continued with my son there. And then it was until somebody who came from the US and asked me, what is your child doing in that special school? Actually, I met this lady in church, and she looked at my son and told me, you know, I have a twin brother who has this condition, cerebral palsy. So upon talking here and there, we became friends. Then she asked me, what is your son doing in Jacaranda School? This child is not mentally challenged. So I removed my son from there, and I got stranded with this boy at home. And it was then that we noticed, I and some other people who also had these children, that these were unique cases. And basically, I say they are unique because they don't talk, yet they are not dumb. They don't walk. You cannot classify them with the physically challenged, because you find that the physically challenged persons talk, they are able to do things for themselves. But this one, cerebral palsy, actually is a multiple disability. We have the very severe cases whereby you find even somebody does not have sight, they're not able to see, because it depends on the extent of the brain damage. Now we go back to what is cerebral palsy. Cerebral, that's part of the brain. Palsy comes from paralysis. So basically, it's damage to the brain. There's a certain part or section of the brain which has paralysis. We know that a person who has paralysis let's say it's your hand which has paralysis, then you're not able to utilize that. So in cerebral palsy, there's a part which has paralysis. And of course, we all know that all activities, when our speech, everything is connected to the brain. It is the brain which coordinates all the movements in our body. Therefore, if a certain section of it is affected, then it will affect that particular use. I'll give you an example. When somebody, for example, gets a stroke is also comes from the brain. It's something that happens in the brain that causes a stroke. And that's why you'll find the person who was walking is not walking, they don't have speech, or they have slurred speech. Then that is what it is. I don't know so far if you are together. So far, are we together?
We are
Yes,
there.
yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Then let me continue. Now, it happens that when you have cerebral palsy, which is caused by brain damage, now we go to when does this occur? When does the brain damage occur? It can happen when the fetus is in the stomach. A parent or a mother-to-be may fall. So when the parent falls, it interferes with the embryo. The impact could cause brain damage. It could be through medicine. Some are abuse of medicine, of alcoholic or whatever it is, but there are some when a mother can develop maybe severe malaria, you take medicine, and we know that the fetus feeds from the mother. Everything that the mother takes in goes to the fetus, and that is why we are always told of good nutrition when you are expecting, because what you eat lands to the child, to the unborn baby. So that could be it. You could get trauma, bad news, something frightening that also could affect. We come to the second one when we talk of during birth. We know that there are complications which sometimes occur during birth. We have a situation of delayed labor. When we talk of delayed labor, the mother gets exhausted, the child gets exhausted. The mother can be so exhausted that she's not even able to push when the time comes to push. That one affects the child. There comes a time when we have breech cases, and during that time, there is that delay. So those complications, delayed labor, or rather prolonged labor, and other complications, then those ones can cause brain damage. Then we have the ones now after. This is after the child has been born. The child can be born well. We have such cases whereby you find that a child was okay, then they developed severe malaria. We know that cerebral malaria, again, the word cerebral, that's again part of the brain that can cause cerebral palsy. We have meningitis, which affects the brain. So meningitis also does cause that. Then we have other ones like jaundice, which will also affect, or even the child could just fall. And the heat, they fall and their head hits something hard. That can also cause brain damage and lead to cerebral palsy. So far, I don't know if you have any questions or I should just continue.
I have a question.
Yes.
For example, in case of delayed labor.
Yes.
Can any emergency be done like inducing and maybe proposal of CS?
Yes, of course, it can be done. But again, one of the challenges that we have, the cases we have come across is where a parent or a mother-to-be is from an extremely humble background. You tell them about CS, for them wanaangalia, oh, I cannot afford that. It's going to cost me a lot of money. Then they decline. We have cases whereby somebody will say, but you know, according to the work I do, again, as we talk of the lower cadre of people, the people from humble backgrounds, you cannot even afford a house help. It's you who will go to the farm. It is you who will do all the vibaruas, maybe your mama kufua nguo. So those teachers, when I get those teachers, first of all, the bill will be too much for me. Then secondly, because it takes time to heal, it means that I will not be able to provide for ourselves, to put food on the table, because we have cases whereby somebody gets a child and within 1 week, they struggle and they do something. So there are those cases whereby the parents refuse. But when there's intervention, then it can save the situation. Yes, somebody else? Somebody else with a question? None.
Okay, mine is just a clarification.
Yes.
Okay, so with the delayed labor.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of percentages, so it's not given that all the delayed labor pains will lead to cerebral palsy. So like from the research, which percentage can you, maybe from your experience, maybe share with us, maybe from the many parents who have had this delayed labor pains? Because I'm sure it's not automatic that all of them resort to cerebral palsy. Just a clarification from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to clarify that, although now it's from what parents tell me, because I'm not a medical practitioner, but I've known about it, you know, the exposure that I have been given. When a child is born, normally when a child is born, and it is the norm, the child has to cry. Why does this child cry? Or why do the doctors or the nurses or the midwives take note or are very concerned when the child does not cry immediately after birth? When the child or the fetus is in the mother's stomach, they breathe in the mother. Once a child comes out, that child is independent. They cry, then they start breathing independently. The lungs open. You know what it means when you breathe. It means that the oxygen goes to the brain. The lungs are now open. They're not dependent on the mother. Therefore, you might get delayed labor. And when you give birth, the child cries. You might experience delayed labor and the child, when the child comes out, the child does not cry. Then now that is the concern. And that's why they are immediately put on oxygen to be able to breathe. Is that clear or something else?
Thank you. Yeah, it's clear.
Yes, thank you very much. Now,
I have a question.
yes.
For me, my question is this.
Yes.
Can the contraceptives and these injections that the women are getting to prevent pregnancies, or maybe the no plant they are doing, I don't know, they are doing so many things. Can this cause cerebral palsy?
That one, it has not been confirmed about the side effects, if it could have on the unborn child, because we don't know for how long that medicine or whatever is injected in the body is alive in the body. Because I know that when they stop using that, then they conceive, but we are not sure if the effects of that injection or the medicine is still in the body or not. So that is yet to be confirmed. Yeah. Somebody else?
I have something that I'm requesting to get a clarification.
Yes.
Listening to women who are giving birth.
Yes.
During the moment of giving birth, when a mother realizes that the child is out,
yes,
they have a tendency of looking at that child and looking at the head. Then they start shaping the head using their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any something that any repercussions of that to the shaping of the hands? Is just helping the child to mold the brain of the child to have that space?
What I can say that one, I know, especially the traditional midwives, that one they do a lot. And I also had it before from our mothers and whatever, saying that when a child is born, then they shape the head, or they take something mafuta and they massage the head. But in hospitals, the experiences I have had, I have not seen that being done in hospitals. So I don't know if it is myth or it is a belief, but I know that traditional midwives used to do that. Yeah.
Question.
Hello, madam.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you can share with us the signs of this cerebral palsy, because I don't know whether this is also one of it, whereby a child has a flow of stool and urine. It doesn't have any stop. So you find that this child is always in diapers. Is it connected with it? And then also this big head?
Okay, now, you have, I think you are talking of a condition called hydrocephalus. That is the one, the child who has a big head. Although now, when I talk about cerebral palsy, maybe there I could continue, then I will answer you. We have 3 cases of cerebral palsy. We have the very mild one. When we talk of mild, these are the children who have cerebral palsy, but they are not affected a lot. So you find that this child, immediately they are put on therapy, they quickly pick up. And in fact, at our clinic, which we operate, we have had children who have been integrated into the regular schools because they have recovered. They may start late, maybe they go to class 1 at the age of 8, but they are integrated. Then we have the moderate one. And for information, we have some of our beneficiaries. We have one who has just finished studying at USIU. We have one who graduated about 3 years ago from Nazarene. We have one who is a graphic designer. So those now are the mild cases. When we talk of the moderate is where a child will not be able to accomplish a lot, but we intervene by what we call the activities of daily living. Once a child is born with cerebral palsy, the first symptom which appears, the child has no head control. The head just shrinks because in the developmental milestones, I think about a few weeks after the child is born, they start turning their head or trying to lift their head. These ones do not. That is the first symptom. So with early intervention, these children, once they get their head support, they will now undergo therapy. They'll be able to sit. They might not necessarily be able to walk. But when we talk of training of daily activities of daily living, this is when we train the child to be able to feed themselves. They might not use the regular plate or spoon, which we need to modify to accommodate their condition. Then they'll be able to feed themselves. They'll be able to wipe their faces. They'll be able to use their hands. They might be slow, but they might not even achieve the speech, but at least this child can feed themselves. They are able to wash their face and do the basics activities. Then now we have the severe ones. The severe ones, these are the ones who have normally other accompanying complications. They suffer from convulsions, and convulsions is something that affects the brain. Every time a person gets convulsions, the brain is affected minimally. So we have children from the word go. They have been on anticonvulsants, medicine to stop them from getting convulsions. We have some who for the past 15 years, 20 years have been on that. And we all know the side effects of medicines. So these they have severe cases. We have cases where the child will not be able to sit down. All they do is lie down. This child is not able to feed themselves. This child is not able to do anything. They are on diapers. We have cases of children who are in their 30s. Actually, I have a case of a child who is 34, and the child is still on diapers to date. They are not able to do those basics. Now, those are the severe cases. Then also, apart from convulsions, we have, although a very few percentage, about 1 or 2%, who are blind. We have cases whereby this child is not able is also mentally challenged, so the child cannot be taught anything. We have other cases also among the severe ones, whereby a child is not able to hear. Our cases, when we talk about speech, most people are not able to differentiate between communication and speech. For the mild cases, the moderate cases, we also intervene with communication. A child may not be able to speak, to talk. I want to go to the toilet. However, we come with communication skills. For example, a child wants to go to the toilet. You don't have the speech. What do? We teach your hand. You touch you at the bottom of your stomach, your private parts. Then the parent is able to tell this child wants to go to the toilet. Again, communication skills that we develop. With the child, are they hungry? We teach the child when they're hungry to take their hand and put on their mouth or on their stomach, or point if there is a plate nearby, they point to the plate or to any feeding device, be it a spoon or a cup. Then there you are able to tell this one. If it is a cup, you know now, okay, if it's a cup, they are thirsty. If it is a plate, they are hungry. So we try and develop those communication skills that we can communicate with this child. But unfortunately for the severe cases, then that is upon the parent or the caregiver now to devise that the time they have to go see if the child is wet. Now this the feeding time, I fed this child or the young adult or the adult at this time, so now they must be hungry. Maybe there somebody else can ask a question. Oh, sorry, the other one who had asked about the toilet. Toileting, a child who is moderate can be taught how to toilet training. How do you do that? If this child is able to sit, maybe now as a parent, I know 9 o'clock, I'll be taking this child, put them on the toilet seat. Automatically, even if you try yourself, I'll give you that homework, all of you, when you go home. Just go, sit in the toilet. You don't even, when you don't want to go to the toilet, automatically you'll find urine coming out. So you train the child. What time does this child wake? Because you also have to train the child to wake up at 6. If it is 6 o'clock, I take the child, I take them to the toilet seat. You find them doing that. From there, I've given him water, I've given him something to drink. So maybe the next time is at 9 o'clock. So automatically now, you start, I'm looking for this one, you start to use your methods, because here is about intervention. This is about you becoming creative to see how you can manipulate the system. Now, maybe somebody else can, now we can start the conversation. Somebody else could ask and we see how we can go about that and we understand better. Hello, yes?
I have a question. There's one of the family.
Yes.
Within the society where I stay.
Yes.
This family has got the children thing almost with the same characteristics, cerebral problem.
Yes.
Now, I was wondering, is it the effect from the parents or what could it be? Because almost he has 5 children and they all behave in the same way. What could be the cause? Some they are unable to speak, and even they just nod their heads, doing just some things which are not in a normal way.
Yeah.
I don't know what could be the effect. Could it be in the same class of Celebral?
Okay, now.
And is it inheritance also?
Now, what I could answer that, because we have noticed there are some cases which is more than one child. So in those cases, we believe it's the gene between the mother and the father. And I believe it should raise a red flag when you get a second born and the child has complications. Unfortunately, in our community, when it occurs the second time, we do not go for tests because that one now it will need a lot of tests. And I'm not very sure that, I'm not doubting our health facilities, but if they are able to now dig deep and take tests, why has it happened the second time? That case or those cases would be arrested, they would not happen again. But again, unfortunately, even with our community, we say this one has happened. Maybe let us get the third one, hoping and trusting that this one will be okay so that he's able to take care of us. When we grow old, we'll be able to take care of the siblings, and it happens again. So that one, we suspect it could be the genes. Yeah. Somebody else?
Excuse me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the sharing.
Yes.
As you have said about the second case, like moderate CP, you intervene with the communication skills.
Yes.
So is this communication skills like sign language?
It is not sign, yeah, it could be part of sign language, but not the sign language that the deaf and dumb use. Because if you go to the sign language, they use alphabets. But this is very basic. It's, I want to go to the toilet, just very basic. And this is the one that communication skills that you will develop to be able to communicate with this child. So it's not the ones that we do like for deaf and dumb. Because those ones use fingers. And I believe when we come to cerebral palsy, our children are not able to use their fingers as much as the people who are deaf and dumb use or utilize their fingers.
And also, as you have said that your son has cerebral palsy,
Yes.
in which category does he fall?
My son,
yes.
Okay, my son falls under moderate. Although what I can say is that initially when we look at him, he was a mild case, but unfortunately that time it was not known, so there was no early intervention. If there was early intervention, then something he would have proceeded even with the studies. But unfortunately, I didn't have that opportunity, or that time it was not known. But what I can say with my son, he's very intelligent. He's not able to walk, but we hold him and he's able, with the support, he can walk. So he doesn't use his wheelchair a lot unless we are going out, but in the house, we just hold him, give him support, and he will walk around the house. He does not have speech, but we have a lot of, we know the communication skills that we have developed. Otherwise, he's able to use the laptop. I have had to train him, the TV, he knows his programs, he does his things. If it is for feeding, I modified the spoons. I have had to modify things in the house to accommodate him so that he's able to perform everyday duties. To the toilet, we just take him, you put him on the toilet seat, he will use the toilet, then again we bring him back. Yes.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Madam Dorothy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for what you're doing for us and also enlightening us.
Yes. Thank you.
Child of whom I was kindly were there the categories of these cerebral palsies and how you can identify them.
Thank you. Now for the 3 categories, normally is the occupational therapist who does that. Because even in our institution, whoever comes, the first thing is an assessment. They are able to assess the extent of the brain damage. Because a child who is on anticonvulsants and the one who is not on anticonvulsants, then their milestones develop at very different stages. So the occupational therapists are the ones who know the cases. They are able to tell, but then of course, like me, because of the exposure that I have had, and maybe I could just mention that, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not a medic by profession, but because of my son, I had to do a lot of reading, a lot of research to be able to take care of him, because it was only at the age of 15 years. That is the time now we started therapy on him. So you can imagine at the age of 15, that's time which is really lapsed. There was no early intervention. But I thank God that now it is known. Even we have children who are as young as 1 month undergoing therapy at our center, because the doctors now know, first and foremost, when a child does not cry at birth, possibilities of the child having cerebral palsy are very high. So once the doctors and the medics are aware, they will always tell the parent after that, you go for your clinics, the postnatal clinics, and they will tell you, because of this complication, this child has this, start early intervention. And I can tell you, we have had success stories, just beautiful success stories. I get excited when I see a child walking. They might not walk with 1 year, they walk maybe when they're 1.5, but they walk, and I feel happy. That's early intervention. And that is what we are advocating for, early intervention.
Madam Dorothy?
Yes?
Please come again with the 3 categories of CP.
I talked of mild CP. This child is able to attain the near normal. Those are the ones I was saying they have graduated. They have speech, but not as I talk. They have slurred speech. They take their time. They don't walk like any other person. You find them staggering kidogo kidogo. Those are the mild cases. Then we have the moderate. Moderate is most of them do not attain mobility, but we concentrate on activities of daily living and some skills here and there, the ones that they're able to do. Then we have the severe ones. The severe ones, most of them are bedridden. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, madam.
Yes, yes, yes.
Please kindly talk more on the one you have said. Maybe it can be maybe a cause like falling down when this child falls down the head. Maybe kindly explain more on it.
When a child falls and they hit the head, not even a child, even an adult, when you hit the head, that damage could affect the brain. For example, I know of somebody who used to play rugby. He was a rugby player. And you know the game is rough, you fall. He hit his head. And from there, after a while, he started getting convulsions. He developed convulsions. Why? Because of the brain damage. So it depends on the impact. The impact, pop, that was the brain shaking. It could happen. So once it's shaken or it is hit, then there you develop brain damage. Yes.
And is convulsion associated with the epilepsy?
Yes, it is. Actually, convulsions, when you get convulsions severally, that is epilepsy. Epilepsy is just, you know, there are people who get temporary convulsions. For example, when somebody gets very high fever, extremely high fever, you could get malaria, you could get anything. You as a regular person, we call them normal person, you become sick and your temperatures go very high. There's a possibility that you can get a convulsion. However, that does not mean you have epilepsy. But epilepsy, actually, even what I'm talking about is epilepsy, what our children get. Epilepsy, when it is something that is continual, because even people with epilepsy take the same medicines as our children. But unfortunately now, the word epilepsy is associated with witchcraft, you know, just something ugly. So when you tell a parent your child has epilepsy, then they tend to feel, my child, you know, now, oh, you know, kifafa, you know the way people handle kifafa. It's the way people hold it, to look at it. Then we don't tell them, we just tell them your child gets convulsions a lot. But actually it is epilepsy. And I thank God because we work in partnership with the Kenya Association for the Welfare of the Epileptic. And some of our parents or our caregivers collect medicines from the epileptic, from the Kenya Association for the Welfare of Epilepsy. Yes.
Thank you.
So we can continue. Or I don't know how much time I had been given.
Sorry, Madam Dorothy, before you go ahead.
Yes.
Madam Dorothy, sorry, before you go ahead.
Yes.
You have told us that this prolonged labor pain or maybe delaying before the child comes out can cause this cerebral palsy. And we know that this delay sometimes maybe the child delays because there is the breach, or maybe there is I don't know, there are those bones that hold the child inside, and then the weight is open, but because the child is held inside, it can't. But there are other cases that the mother is not cooperating. The mother has no complications at all, but she's not cooperating because maybe of the pain that she's in, she don't want to push, or maybe she don't want that child like that, and then she's not. Can that one also cause this cerebral palsy?
Yes, actually,
because automatically the child is delayed.
Yeah. Okay, there are those cases which we have. Maybe the mother, you see, people have got different ways of taking pain. There are some who feel the pain is too much or whatever. But basically what I can say is this, from the knowledge I have, is that when a child, cerebral palsy occurs, when a child does not cry immediately. That is the time that the brain damage happens. When the child does not cry immediately. Then, because the child is not able to breathe, when the child cries, they open their mouth, the air goes in, it activates their lungs, it activates the brain. Therefore, you might get a delayed labor, but the child comes out and the child is able to cry. However, what we are now trying to do is to work with the Ministry of Health, whereby parents are taught that these children may have cerebral palsy if you abuse drugs, if you don't go for the clinics, if there's a prolonged labor, so that when a parent knows, or the mother-to-be knows that this can cause damage to this child, then those things can be avoided. Now, I have seen somebody who have asked about food. Actually, I had forgot to mention that one. In very severe cases, our children, we have cases where children cannot swallow. They're not able to swallow, like the one that I was talking who is 34 years old and this child is still in diapers. That's a severe case. Their food has to be blended. So we use blenders to feed these children. Then we have 3 cases whereby these children are not even able to use their mouths to feed through their mouths, and they use tubes. We have 2 who have tubes fitted in their stomachs into their intestines. So they are fed through tubes. We have 3 cases. So that's what I'm saying, you know, they are severe. It can come with other complications, not just cerebral palsy. Cases, we have very extremely severe cases. Those are the ones I'm saying. And it's very difficult for the parents, for the caregivers, because you can imagine that tube which has kifuniko on it. You prepare the food for the child, you blend it, you put it in the big syringe, unavuta kama vile unavuta dawa kwa syringe, then you open that top, then you slowly release the food into the stomach or into the intestines. It's very difficult for that, but now those are the cases which are complicated, the serious cases, severe cases.
Na
Ndio.
hao watoto wanasoma, wanapelekwa shule kusoma kama wengine?
Sasa hapo inategemea na kiwango cha cerebral palsy. Kama kwa mfano nimekwambia kuna wale ambao wamesoma, tuna graduates kati yetu. Hao walikuwa ni mild cases. Hao walienda university, ingawaje umesikia wameenda private universities, kwa sababu hata hapo wanahitaji ule usaidizi. Hizi za serikali hawataweza kumanage, lakini mzazi anaenda kwa hizi private, anazungumza na administration, anamwambia kuna mtoto wangu, ningependa aje shule, aje asome, na hiyo ndio hali yake, kwa sababu kama ni hostel itabidi aende apelekwe zile hostels za chini. Kuna some modifications ambazo university pia inafanya, na nitakwambia kwamba kuna mfano mmoja wetu ambaye alifanya class 8 mwaka jana, na mzazi wake mtoto amechukuliwa Buruburu Girls, lakini ilibidi mzazi wake aende kwanza shule, awambie mtoto wangu hii ndiye hali yake, yuko kwa wheelchair. Buruburu Girls is a boarding school, lakini imebidi mzazi awambie tafadhalini wangu atabidi awe day school. Mzazi anampeleka asubuhi, jioni anamchukua, ili kwa sababu kama ni kulala ana need attention, kupinduliwa hapa na pale, anahitaji, kama ni kula atahitaji ule usaidizi. Kwa hivyo kuna wale wanaenda shule, lakini ni lazima tuende kwa administration, tuwazungumzie well in advance, tuambie iko mtu yuaja, lakini hii ndio hali yake, these are the limitations, hata kama ni hiyo ramp, kwa sababu kuna wengine ambapo hawana, hata kama ni ramp ya mbao, iwekwe temporary one, ambapo itamwezesha kupita na gari lake la magurudumu. Naam.
Asante.
Naam, karibu.
Madam Dorothy.
Yes.
I have a concern because with these severe cases of CP,
yes,
you have said, can they be helped to come out of that situation, maybe to walk, to sit down? Because we try also with physiotherapy, but not all of them are able to do many things. How do you help your children, those you are dealing with?
Now, for us, when it comes to the severe cases, what we do, first of all, we train our parents. We work with our parents. Even when they come for therapy, the parent has to be there with the therapist. We teach them the basics. So in the very severe case, what we do, we visit them at homes. Now the ones, because ours is not a boarding facility, but they are seen at home and a parent is taken through, because not all children will be able to walk. Not all of them will be able to sit, depending on the severity of the condition. However, we teach the parents, kwa sababu, let me give you a good example. When somebody gets a fracture, if you fracture your hand today, is in a plaster for 2 months. When that plaster is removed, you undergo therapy. Why do you undergo therapy? so that this hand can be restored back to be able to be used. If you fold your hand, you do not use it, then it becomes weak. So what we do, we continue with exercises, what we call maintenance therapy, because once you do that therapy, even the blood flows, because the blood has to flow. Then we continue with maintenance therapy, although in that case, there's nothing much that can be done. It's just maintenance so that this child, because if you don't use your hand, itakuwa weak kabisa. So, and then also so that for the blood flow. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Santi.
I want to ask more about there is this severe condition where it is hard for maybe a child to support her head or his head.
Mm-hmm.
And also I want to relate with something like meningitis with reference to a case that we had.
Yeah.
It was a case that we rescued a child whom, okay, for us, the priority, we serve children who are HIV positive.
Yes.
So the child was from a family that was internally displaced. Yeah. So when we took the child for to help her to at least regain her health, yeah, we discovered the child. Okay, our priority was about the HIV condition, the HIV condition. Yes. But finally, we discovered that the child was not able to see. She was like around 6-7 years. Yeah. But she could not sit well. We used to put some blankets on the chair to support her head. Yes. And since we did not have prior background check because it was an emergency, we had to rescue the child first. Yes. So from the records, we saw that the child had suffered or was suffering meningitis. Yes. So we were taking her to Mid-Hill Hospital in Nakuru. Yes. And already the brain had been damaged completely. Yes. So the child was weak, and the only time she could eat the food, it was when she was crying. She was in pain. Yeah. And somebody had to make her cry so that she can eat. Otherwise, without crying, she was biting the teeth together that she cannot eat. So we could try for always to see that the mouth is open and she's given food. Yeah. Unfortunately, she could not live longer, and she was under the tubes. We were feeding her through the tubes. Yeah. But finally she passed on. Yeah. So I think from home, whichever how the conditions were, maybe empowering people can be good so that we can save the lives of the children to prevent this early death, because it is about maybe ignorance. We don't know how to differentiate all this, because like meningitis, yeah. For me, when I didn't know it was a cause of maybe cerebral palsy. So it was good for you to come in, and also one of our sisters to enlighten us on what it is, because we serve children, and for us, for example, for us, if we just say we are dealing on one line, but this child comes with a multiple conditions, so it's good to know various issues that affect the children and even adults. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, what happens? We advocate for early intervention. As I said, we have a child. Actually, when the child, like financial exercises, I just go out, because you can imagine a child who is, no, she's 2 months old. A financial exercise, akakilia, you know, but the future is bright for that child. We are trying to sensitize people, but unfortunately, The initial stages are very difficult. First and foremost, you have had your child. How does the doctor relate to you that your child may develop a complication? That is one thing that we have to be very sensitive about, because this person has to be taken through with a lot of cautious that this child might not be. However, I'm not blaming the doctors, because doctors and the medics are also people like us. Maybe they have stresses at home. They're undergoing also mental challenges, the way they will break the news. Secondly, we do a lot of counseling because people are in denial. And unless you come out of denial, that is the time you cooperate with our therapists. When you come for therapy, you are told, do this, there is hope for this child. Because they are just people who give up. They look at that as a liability. This child, like now for me, let me give you a good example about my son. I'm retired. I retired, but with a lot of humility, I'm going to say that God blessed me with something that I'm able to take care of my son. And God has blessed me with health. My son is not a severe case. Imagine, supposing I was in a situation whereby I'm not able to provide for this child, what would have happened? I have had to employ somebody for 43 years to help me with the work, because when I was working, whom would I have left this child with? I have had to go through all that. Now there's somebody else who looks at that and anaona hapana, huu utakuwa mzigo, because people have shattered dreams. It shatters somebody's dreams. Today, if you listen to our young people talking, they have their dreams, they have their visions, there's what they want. Utasikia mtu akisema mimi nikiolewa nitafanya hivi within the first year or the second year, I'll get my baby, I will raise my child. Then from there, I'm going back to pursue my master's. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Then you are told that this child has a condition, which means that when other children are crawling, yours is still lying down. When other children are going to nursery schools, or you are walking with your child holding their hands, wewe uko pale pale. Shattered dreams. People become psychologically affected. We have cases of depressions. For how long? For how long will this happen? And I must say, it's not only for them, but also I underwent the same. And I'll give you one very interesting thing of my own personal experience that I had. I worked in an institution, and in this institution, I rose through ranks. I started as a copy typist, I became a secretary, I became a personal assistant, I became a trade officer. I would travel, because we were dealing with trade, I would travel different countries. Then out came a circular. It says that we all have, or we must all have degrees. we have to go to the universities and studies. That is what they want. It was a challenge because for me, first and foremost, I'm a single parent. I never came and I sat down. I went to the Kenyatta University. I went there and they had a program, a parallel, whereby I was to go Saturdays and Sundays. So I came and I sat down. My house help was not, she was tied with my son. She was very committed. So from Monday to Friday, she's with my son. I felt it would be very unfair again over the weekend to tie her down with my son. I have to release her, give her off to go. I was caught between a hard place and a rock. I made a very painful decision. I went to my employer and I told him, I'm sorry. From my challenges at home with my son and what, I will not be able to. So where would I be placed? Believe it or not, I went down, I was degraded. I became a messenger, I became a cleaner. Can you imagine? That is what I went through. From flying to going in the morning, cleaning the tables, mopping the floors, washing utensils, kutoa dustbin kupeleka nje, going to the post office to check letters, being sent out as a messenger. That is where I found myself. But one thing for me, I thank God because of my faith. I told God, you're going to see me through. And with a lot of humility, I can say that that is what I did. However, could somebody else have done that? So these are the situations that our parents go through day in, day out. That is why we have cases of children being abandoned. People come to me at CPSK and you find this person really wanting this child. Why don't you build a boarding facility where we can have these children there? But when I look at the parents, unaona huyu anataka mtoto amuondoke, they can continue with their lives. Wanataka mtoto awaondoke, huu mzigo, there are some who are prepared even to be paying however much you are able to pay. Lakini amuondoke, because those are shattered dreams. So I think from experience, you have now come to understand why people abandon the children, why it is that denial, because it is tough. I can say it is tough. Today I have retired. Okay, I'm still up and down. I thank God for my health. We have children who are orphans there. We have we have 4 grandmothers who take care of their children, because their daughters were single parents, they have since passed on. Kuna shosho wazee that I have to go seeing, communicating, helping with, because they are old. In fact, we have one who is 75 years old, and she's taking care of a severely challenged child. So these challenges are there. Yes, any question? Any question, any comment?
So thank you for the sharing and all what you went through. It's not easy.
Yes.
And this is how the parents are going through. And as you have said, we also work with this type of children, and many are in our home. We have 100 of them.
Okay.
And we realize when the children come from home, they have they are not able to move anymore because when they go home, the parents are busy with other things. So they
Yes.
bring them when they are worse.
Yes, yes.
Especially even when some are operated and they are done face you and go home. Usually they
Yes.
come back when they are severe and worse. So it is not easy as you say.
Yes.
So I was saying, if
Yeah.
these children are kept at home and maybe taken care at an early age, and then later on when they are able, they are followed, that could be a good thing. But now
Yeah.
who will help these mothers? Because now we may not be able to do, we are dealing with the one in the home. And
Yes.
there are many in the villages, because when they bring into our home,
Yes.
we take only 65 per year or that 40.
Yes.
But majority go back home. So I don't know how we can help these mothers because it is not easy anyway, as you say, because there are many there outside more than those who are in our homes.
Okay. Where
Do you
are
have a home? Do you have a home for this? You said you don't have a home.
we don't have a home. We engage the parents.
Okay.
Yes. Where are you based?
We are in Orokarao. It's a home called Orokarao Disabled Home and Rehabilitation Center in Nyandarua County.
Nyandarua. I think Olkalau.
Yes, Disabled Children Home.
I think I have heard about it.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of cases? Are people coming up to you?
Many. There are many. They even come over 100 and above every year.
Are you looking for vacancies there?
Yes. And we say we receive only few. We admit few.
Yes, I know it because I have heard of my parents going to Olkalao na hawajaniambia ni wapi. Ati
Yeah,
tunakwenda
it's our
Olkalao
home.
wapi? Kwa masista wapi? Yes,
Yeah.
I have. There are some who come from my place.
Yeah.
They come looking.
Yeah, they come there. Many come there. Yes.
So as for what we are trying to do is to create awareness. It's only that COVID came in and it stopped us from accomplishing some of the goals that we had. But we wanted to go talking to parents, engaging them. Actually, we were looking for partnerships like now for Hapo Olkalau Disabled Home, whereby we work with you, you facilitate us by getting your parents to come, then we come, we talk to them, we explain to them what it is, because by the way, I forgot to mention that Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya, the founders are all parents. All our committee, from the trustees, all the committee members are parents. We are all parents. So because we are able to share with our fellow parents, like now what I have shared with you, what I went through, somebody else, so that now we tell them, now let us team up. How do we overcome this? And I can tell you, we have some parents who have gone that extra mile. They are the ones who have introduced us to churches. They have, like now we have something in Kamulu. The parents there went. One of them was in a church. He talked to their parish priest because they work a small room. We went there and they facilitated. We now offer therapy there. So we tell the parents, go talk to your county government, talk to your parish priest, talk to the community, to the chiefs. If we can get a room, then from there for us is to look for partners who can come and they'll come furnish that place and we will be able to come and take care of that place. That is how we are working, because we cannot be everywhere, but we're telling parents,
You're muted.
Any other thing?
We can organize on that and see
Yeah,
what
yes,
we can
yes.
do.
I'll be very happy to.
We shall also appreciate.
Yes, yes, I'll be here. Just a minute. Peter, yes, yes, yes. I will appreciate if all of you, we can come, we can sit, and then we are able to organize. I believe most of you are outside Nairobi.
Yes.
Yes, so now we can, you have my contacts, we can come, we can see how we can partner as we pray that COVID will not terrorize us anymore. We need our lives, we need to move on with our lives. There are things to be done as we pray that COVID lessens whatever it's doing, so that we can work together. We want partners. We want to be all over the country in partnership with organizations. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so much, Madam Dorothy. We
Yes.
appreciate.
Yes.
We have run a lot. The sisters, I
Yes.
think you have run a lot, and Mwalimu, I think he has stepped out. So
Yes.
on behalf of the class, we want to say thank you so much. So
Yes.
I invite one sister, Sister Redempta, she will say thank you to you. Then I think can end it there. Sister
Okay.
Redempta.
Now, Mimi, before she says, I want to say thank you very much for you people creating time to learn about cerebral palsy. We are open, we are looking for partners. Feel free to contact me, then we can come over and we can see how we can help you help these children. Yes. Sister?
Okay, Sister Redempta.
So on behalf of my sisters present, I take
Yes.
this opportunity to thank you, Madam Dorothy,
Yes.
for even finding time and coming to share with us about cerebral palsy.
Yes.
You are an experienced person for over 40 years, and
Yes.
we really congratulate you. It has not been an easy journey for you.
Yes.
And it has been a journey of love and faith, because if it were not for the love and faith you have,
Yes.
maybe you could be like those parents who wish to maybe you're taking a child as a cross, but you have taken him as a gift.
Yes.
And from you,
Yes.
many other people you have touched the lives of many other people, especially giving hope to those parents, but also the children, they feel loved.
Yeah.
So from what we have gained from you, it will help us also to be part of your team and also help people who are almost despairing in their lives.
Yes.
And maybe having a feeling like such a condition is for example, a curse or is a misfortune. So thank you so much for your inspiration and also availability. We will pray for you. And
Amen.
as we are resolving to work together in our various CCIs.
Yes.
And please be available. You'll be our contact person.
Yes,
and
I
also,
will be.
yes, and also we'll be there for you. We'll help each other.
Yes.
God bless you. And we also wish to have another session with you.
Yes.
Even for accepting our lecturer to reach you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you
And
very
even
much.
if you can organize ourselves as a class also, we will be
Yes.
happy if you'll be available again.
Okay,
Yes.
thank
God
you
bless you
very
and greet your family. We are much
Okay.
together. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you and God bless you. Good day.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sisters. Mwalimu will send the record later.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Dorothy, and have a great time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Asante. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Be blessed.